What is going on, guys? Ace Trainer Mike here, bringing you a episode of PTI, which is Pokemon Tips and Information. We're going to teach you how to wall and counter Talonflame in this episode. Talonflame is a Pokemon that gets access to moves like this. Brave Bird, Flare Blitz, Sword Stance, Will-O-Wisp. Will-O-Wisp can be switched out for Roost, or Tailwind, or Toxic, or Taunt. Very, very versatile Pokemon. Even U-Turn can be switched in. Gets access to Gale Wings, which gives priority to its flying type moves, so makes it a very, very devastating Pokemon. And if you let it stay around too long, it'll sweep your team at the end of the battle. So to counter it, I'm going to list in descending order the top 5 Pokemon that you'd want to have, starting with our number 5 choice, which is Ferrothorn. Now Ferrothorn gets access to Iron Barbs and Rocky Helmet, so it'll do 25% of damage if Talonflame touches Ferrothorn. It gets Stealth Rock, Leech Seed, Gyro Ball, Thunder Wave, which are good moves to go for. Early game, you're going to want to set up the rocks, hope they don't get defogged. You can play around that pretty well. Leech Seed and Thunder Wave are good moves to either go on the Talonflame or go on to impending switches because it might not want to stay in against the Ferrothorn. Thunder Wave is the best choice if it's going to stay in and you want to try to paralyze it. The only reason it is not any higher on this list is because Talonflame can destroy Ferrothorn with its Flare Blitz, although the only benefit is that Talonflame will be incredibly weak if that is the case, and if it's coming on rocks and it Flare Blitzes it, it'll probably die to Recoil and Rocky Helmet Iron Barbs. Number 4 is going to be another Pokemon that gets access to Rocky Helmet, and that is going to be Garchomp with a rough skin, and Rocky Helmet is doing the same 25% that Ferrothorn did. However, Garchomp actually walls it a little better, is not weak to his fire, actually resisted by 4, I think, or by 2 at the very least. Gets Stone Edge, which is a move that can kill it. Earthquake, a move that can kill it on a Roost. Dragon Tail, a move that can switch it out after it sets rocks. If it wants to try to be cheeky and Will-O-Wisp it, it can still Dragon Tail. But it's on the list at number 4 because it can get Will-O-Wisp, and that essentially ruins your Garchomp. Anytime your Rocky Helmet setter can get Will-O-Wisp, it can get stalled then by special attackers and passive damage from your Will-O-Wisp, so I don't think that Garchomp is too low on this list. I think he's right where he needs to be at number 4. Number 3 is going to be Rotomwash because it gets access to leftovers and resists all of its stabs perfectly. Volt Switch, Hydro Pump, awesome move to Volt Switch because if you're playing your opponent's Talonflame right, you're either going to kill it or switch out when it switches into a new Pokemon. If you don't have ground types coming, you're going to go for the Hydro Pump, and Hydro Pump also will kill Talonflame. Will-O-Wisp will take down and cripple physical attacking Pokemon, and Pain Split can punish your opponent for coming in on a really weak Rotom with a really high HP Pokemon. It'll just cripple it. And number 2 is going to be Hippowdon. Now Hippowdon is number 2 because it gets access to Earthquake, Stone Edge, Slack Off, and Stealth Rock. Stealth Rock, again, is huge. The only reason why Rotom is not further on this list is because it does not get Stealth Rock. Slack Off is great recovery and will make sure that your Hippowdon is long-lasting as your opponent's Talonflame continuously tries to kill you. It will not, and take passive damage from its recoil. Earthquake can punish your opponent for going for the Roost. Stone Edge will punish your opponent for staying in with Talonflame, and its defense is just huge at 118. Just an awesome way to kill it. Number 1 is going to be Tyranitar. Now Tyranitar is number 1 on my list because it gets access to Sandstream as well, so does Hippowdon. Stealth Rock, Stone Edge, Pursuit, and Ice Beam. Tyranitar has just such more of a versatile move pool. Its special defense makes sure that not only will it counter Talonflame, but it'll also stay alive against other Pokemon. Its speed stat outclasses Hippowdon and can speed creep some other Pokemon. It's just a very versatile Pokemon that fits into almost any team if you really play it correctly. So guys, this has been my list of the top 5 checks and counters to Talonflame. Now any one of these Pokemon can be your number 1 choice, just depending on how you're building your team. These Pokemon are awesome to counteract Talonflame. I'd highly recommend, if you're having a problem with Talonflame, using one of these Pokemon. This has been Ace Trainer Mike, signing out guys. Peace y'all, train on trainers.